Hello, fellow students. Today I'm going to talk about my topic from my research paper, which was on Bob Jones, and the title is Bob Jones, a Historic Fundamentalist. Just to give a little background, fundamentalism has historically, at least in the second half of the 20th century, been very separatistic, and I wanted to ask the question of what was Bob Jones's separatism like? And my thesis is that Bob Jones's separatism was from modernism and social ills. Let me just give a little background of his life of Bob Jones. He was born in the South, raised in the South, a Southern Methodist. His father was a Civil War veteran, and he had that background, and he carried that with him his whole life. He decided to be a preacher very early on. He started preaching when he was 13 years of age, was ordained when he was 15 in the Methodist Church South, Episcopal Methodist Church to be specific, and he quickly became a famous evangelist. First really quarter of the 20th century, he was a household name, only second in his fame to Billy Sunday, and decided to found a college as well in 1927, Bob Jones College, named it after himself. And it eventually became Bob Jones University in 1947, came to the Greenville, South Carolina area, where it is to this day. And and uh, and that's a little bit of his background. As far as what I found, as far as his separatism, in his early days before the founding of the college, a big emphasis was on the social ills. There was one campaign he did in El Paso where a bulk of the campaign was to stop people from crossing the border into Mexico and drinking and dancing and being involved in all sorts of debauchery, um, and real and imagined, really. He would preach on the importance of young men and young women fulfilling their traditional roles in the home and outside of the home, and to avoid for the women dressing immodestly to tempt the men, and for the men to work hard and lead their homes, lead their churches, and the like. And before his founding of the university too, there was a lot of cohesion between the different churches. He felt like he could have fellowship with different types of believers from different denominations, and that was clear. After the founding of Bob Jones, it became clear he wanted to be separate from modernists, from all forms of really unbelief, and liberalism is the best way to put that. And that's why he founded the college. He wanted young people to move away from Christian colleges that were adopting liberalism and modernism, and secular colleges too, of course. And when the late 1930s and 40s came, his own denomination had some liberalism coming in, and he didn't see, this is interesting that he didn't see the need to leave the denomination, but felt as though he could support what was in it and try to work for its building up and its retrieval of key Christian doctrines. So that was his point of view. When the new evangelical movement started in the 40s, later 40s, he didn't separate from this movement, didn't feel a need to separate from unbelievers, but he did separate, well, didn't separate, but tried to edify and admonish those parts of the movement that he didn't think were the best biblically. I would put it that way. And even in the episode with Billy Graham, the university did separate from Billy Graham during his 1957 crusade, but he himself did not. He admonished still. His son was over the college at this time, and I don't think Senior would have separated himself, and really didn't seem to do so, say anything publicly. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing your own presentation.